Hi, I wanted to share a recipe with you today. This recipe is really easy to do, and it is something that you can have on hand, and most of the ingredients last a good long time, so you can just be prepared to make it anytime, and that's hummus. So for hummus, you only need a handful of ingredients. The first thing, of course, you need is garbanzo beans or chickpeas, whatever you'd like to call them. These I buy at our local grocery store. This is the store brand organic. And what you'll need is the beans, but you'll also need a little bit of the juice from inside the can as well. The other thing you're going to need is olive oil. You're going to need something called tahini. Tahini is ground sesame seeds, and it tastes like a very, very mild peanut butter almost. And it is, when you open it, sometimes it separates with some oil on the top and you just have to stir it up. It's pretty thick. You'll just have to stir it up. But you should be able to find this in any health food section of your store, or sometimes where you find the sesame oil, maybe the international aisle. But ask them for that. It's tahini. The next thing you're going to need is sea salt. Pretty self-explanatory. Garlic, you're going to need 1 clove of garlic. Now, we tend to sometimes put 2 in, but you don't want to go and sweat right after that. Pee you. And then some lemon. So those are the ingredients. The recipe that I use comes from a cookbook by a guy named Dr. Josh Axe. And he has a great health food cookbook. I also like to follow his website. He has great recipes on this website. So if you want to do a little exploring or look for some other healthy recipes, they're usually clean eating recipes. Some of them might be a little extreme for you, but the majority of them have really turned out good, the ones that I've tried. So I'll be back to show you some of the steps and the end result. The other thing you're going to need is either a food processor or a blender. So you can make this, a lot of people make it in a blender. I actually don't have a blender. I just have my NutriBullet and I have a food processor. So I'm going to go ahead and use my food processor. See you in a minute. Hi again. So I'm going to go ahead and throw my ingredients in this food processor right here. See if you can see that just a little better. So what I have here first is I have the garbanzo beans. I opened the can. I poured out juice into a 1/4 cup measuring cup of the juice from the can, which is just for some flavoring. Then I thoroughly rinsed the garbanzo beans in water in a colander, and then I'm just going to pour them right into the food processor. I'm going to go ahead and pour that 1/4 cup of juice from the can. There we go. Then I'm going to take a teaspoon of sea salt. Sea salt is definitely a better salt for you. Let's see, where's my teaspoon? Here's my teaspoon. So I'm going to take a teaspoon of sea salt. Just going to check my recipe to make sure I'm right on that. Yep. And I'm going to put that in there. Then I need a tablespoon, 2 tablespoons of tahini. So remember, that's this. This is the ground sesame seeds. So I've already stirred the tahini up. So I'm going to get, so you can see, oh, I got it all over the place. You can see it kind of looks a little bit like a nut butter. I'm going to go ahead and scoop that out of there. There we go. That's 1. And here comes 2. And I really like tahini, so I may just put a little bit extra. One of the things that is really good about this recipe is that you can kind of play with the amounts. Exact amounts aren't a big deal. It kind of is a little more about what you like. 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. I'm just going to squeeze a half a lemon. Again, not exact, but I'm going to squeeze as much of it as I can out of here. And a half a lemon should be about 2 tablespoons. You may need a little more. Or you can just buy a lemon juice and use it that way. Although I would buy a good brand. Make sure there's no added sugar. Okay. I actually really like the smell of lemon. I'll put a little bit on my wrist, my neck. I have 1 clove of garlic here, and I'm just going to toss that in there. Olive oil, 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Now, again, like I said, this recipe is quite flexible as far as you can adjust it to your tastes. I oftentimes end up adding a little more olive oil because I like it very creamy. So I always start with my 2 tablespoons, and then sometimes I just add some if I decide I need a little more. So I'll show you a finished product in a minute. Hi there. So we have finished our hummus. I blended it in the food processor for about a minute and made sure it was very creamy and thoroughly blended. And I added a couple extra drops of olive oil, but that was it. It really was almost exactly correct this time. And so here's my finished product. As you can see, I sprinkled a little paprika on there just for fun. And I'm going to have some celery and red peppers with my hummus, and this will be my afternoon snack. So everybody have a faithfully fit and fabulous day.